Green Lantern Corps Annual Number 1, written by Peter Tomasi, art by Fernando Pasarin. This is the finale to Rise of the Third Army, and last issue we left off with Guy Gardner getting broken out of jail and brought to the moon by Simon Baz and Bidig. So Simon's brought up to speed, Guy's brought up to speed by Simon. He shows him the message from Hal and Sinestro inside of his ring, telling him like, hey, the Guardians are behind all this. And then Guy just does a run through for anybody who skipped the entirety of the event. He's like, yep, the Guardians one by one got rid of all the Earth Lanterns via very convenient means, and my thing was the last one. So, yep, those guys are doing something crazy. Ring, how long is it going to take them to overtake the universe? And Bidig's ring like, about 27 days. And it's like, okay, well, we need to pick up the pace. So then all of a sudden a call comes through from the Guardians on all the Green Lantern rings, basically saying, hey guys, you may have heard about this Third Army stuff. It can possess your body. Luckily, we the Guardians found a vaccine to it, and you need to come up and get your vaccines or else you're going to get possessed. So everyone come back to Oa right away. Little bit on the nose for me, but regardless. So at that point, Guy's like, yeah, all right, well, I'm not getting vaccinated. So then he comes up with his own plan here, and he's like, here's the thing. We got to take down the Guardians. We got to figure out what's up. Simon, you can literally do anything. You literally brought a guy out of a coma in your own story. You are able to do whatever you want as a Green Lantern. Don't forget that. Bidig, go inside the Black Lantern book that you got your hands on. Go inside of it and find Hal. That seems to be really important. Meanwhile, give me a construct that's going to let me fly back to Oa so I can get my own ring. And so he makes a cool-ass cyborg suit and flies away. So Simon and Bidig open up the pages to the Black Lantern book, and they're like, hey, are you sure this is a good idea? We might not be able to ever get out. And Simon's like, yeah, whatever. So they go inside the book, and we see this image of what I believe to be the first lantern swallowing them, which might be a bit of a future thing. But regardless, they get inside, and Black Hand's inside waiting for him. Be like, hi, welcome to the Chamber of Shadows. May I take your order? So then we go to John Stewart and Fatality, who are being blasted around the asteroid field that is Mogo, and it is very quickly reassembling itself into its center core. And they're like, yeah, we did it. We let Mogo survive. And then the Guardians see this, and they're like, crap. Mogo's not supposed to be back yet. That could be an issue. All right, send all the Third Army in that area to go attack. We'll take care of them quickly. But as they're doing so, Mogo ups his gravitational field and starts pulling in Fatality and John to the point where they're not able to escape, and they get pulled into its planet's core. So that's a thing. Meanwhile, Guy arrives on Oa just as his suit runs out of energy, and he lands right next to the containment field for the rings, and he's like, oh, there's mine. I'm just going to grab that. And of course it's booby-trapped. But at that point, Kilowog shows up, and he's like, you idiot, of course it's going to be booby-trapped. And he's like, well, I could take it. It's regardless. And he asks Kilowog what's going on upstairs, and apparently all the Lanterns showed up to get their vaccines. But, of course, it was all a trap, and it turns out that once you arrive, they just basically paralyze you, and you're unable to move, so that more and more of the Lanterns will come and be like, oh, that looks like it's safe, and they'll still be stuck there. So it's Kilowog and a couple of other people, which... one of them is named Vash, but Vath. I don't know who they are. Anyway, they're like, yeah, so we got to go take down the Guardians. Guy, what can you even do right now without a ring? He's like, oh, I'm the guy with a plan. So anyway, the Third Army starts arriving at Mogo, and they're like, we don't see John Stewart and Fatality anywhere. Oh, well, Third Army, go attack Mogo. But then Mogo uses his asteroid field that's still all around him to start blasting away at light speed all of the Third Army using his debris. And so Mogo is fully formed again. He is a full lantern, and he is saved the lives of John and Fatality, because when he pulled them into the planet's core, it was literally just to protect them from that. And Fatality and John started celebrating, and they're like, oh, we saved Mogo. Yeah, we saved him. And Fatality's like, saved her. Remember, there was a male and a female part. So the Guardians start doing their villainous monologue over top of the Lanterns, just like, hey, we know you're upset with us, we get it, but believe us, this is all for the best. We absolutely had to do this. And at that point, Guy shows up and punches the Guardians in the face, and it's just like, yeah, you tried to destroy me, but I'm back, and I'm better than ever. And it turns out they're using Krona's glove or something like that in order to give Guy the ability to tap directly into the willpower of the central battery. I don't know. Sounds like they're referencing old stuff. I don't know. But they do end up blasting it away, and they end up knocking off his suit. And it's just like, see, without a Green Lantern ring, you're nothing, guy. And guy's like, nah, I'm me. And they're like, yeah, that's true, like technically. So they start going in about to destroy him. It's just like, see, what was all this for? He's like, oh, I was just the distraction. And it turns out that the other Green Lanterns that were there are severing the transmission lock on the rings. They're getting rid of the inoculation grid, and they're sending out their own message to all the lanterns that haven't showed up yet, basically saying, hey, the Guardians are betraying us. You got to get back here and kick their asses. So at that point, the Third Army show up via wormhole, and it's just all-out battle time. They're about to go after Guy, who is at this point powerless, before Kyle and the rest of the new Guardians come swooping in to save the day. Kyle is now a White Lantern, and they also start fighting 100%. Guy gets his ring back because, of course, he does. Starts fighting, and at that point, the Manhunters from the Red Lantern story show up and also start joining the fight. And the Guardians are like, okay, this might actually be a little bit too much, what with the White Lanterns and the Manhunters and all. I'm not entirely sure how we're supposed to deal with this, so we need to get some more power from the First Lantern. And the First Lantern is just sitting there like, don't you do it. I'm warning you, don't you take more power. And they're like, no, your power belongs to us. So they start draining it of more power to get a little bit of a supercharge. But then the First Lantern's like, you're taking too much. You're lowering the prison walls. I'm going to get out. And they're like, no, you aren't. And he's like, yes, I am. And all of a sudden, he breaks apart the prison walls. He screams, Volthoom will be free. And then we just get a page of your core, your hunters, your army, everything you've ever created, Guardians, will be no more, as the page literally disintegrates into white nothingness. So now we're starting up the next event, Wrath of the First Lantern, because we literally cannot breathe for a second. So I like it. I like it as its own independent story, but it is so much of a non-ending. Like, this is the end of Rise of the Third Army, and maybe we disintegrated the whole army. I doubt it, but maybe we did. But we're just rolling right into the First Lantern thing without so much as time to catch our breath, and I feel like there should have at least been a little bit of a conclusion on this. Like, have them fully wipe out the Third Army, and then go after the Guardians, and then the Guardians pull this. That would work. It would give us the conclusion of the Third Army. But now, this was like a non-ending. It's just rolling right into the next. It's not bad. I think that the storytelling in this was good, but the ending just leaves so much to be desired. So, in that regard, I'm going to give this one a 7. Like I said, I think it's good. And to fault the entire issue for the fact that it just happened to be 2 events, one right after another, it's not that big of a deal, but it is enough to knock it down. This probably would have been like an 8 if it had an ending to the Third Army stuff instead of just letting it free flow out of there. So 7 for this, and we'll see what happens in Wrath of the First Lantern.